Right. Testing. This is how you fix the RX70 cards in the 80s and the 60s. Had it since 2019, wasn't able to play stable. And with all the people getting, Ryzen's around 2020 or so, they thought that was the problem with their stability. So you can see I'm got a custom overclock 1354. So we got, who knows if it uses more power really. We head on over to the OCCT. It was every day I'd have to power test OCCT and just hope that, whatever configuration I'm using of voltage and power and fan, and it's definitely related to the fan. Just hope that when I tested it would, not be it was really overheating. That's probably what it is, and it's not the chip, it's the VRAM. So here we go. This is the true power of the RX570. I got it up to 215 watts before. And we can see the fan doesn't even need to go fast because we have a 3000 RPM chassis fan on it. So there it is. That's the OCC test. It's running maxed out. Can't do that even on undervolt if you don't have the setup that I have. So that's 166. There's 137. Here's an earlier test at 215. Haven't got the, over CPU 4.2. This is an overclock based on the CPU to core ratio, which is at 40, giving 4.0 gigahertz. So if you leave it on standard 38 core ratio, you'll have mostly sitting at 38, but it'll go up to 4.2. And I'm not really willing to, I don't really want to do default BIOS. For some reason, it's not the BIOS that's doing that. So let's go ahead and shut this down and I'll show the card. With my tweaks, I can't use the start menu. You can see them on GitHub/Meklin2. It's called the A1 kit, which the next video after this will be showing how to run that and not ruin the computer. Frame sequence. Care about that. Wow, some reason the mic wasn't on. I don't know. OBS is trash on Linux. So this is maxed out fan. I said a lot of important stuff too. So basically all you need to know is that there was someone posted that they had put some fans on the back and it fixed their crashing problem on an AMD Vega 64. So this card is old. Maybe at one point in time it didn't crash. I don't remember. But I basically had it for 4 years now or so. Had a 1060 before that, but broke it intentionally. And so let's get this card out. There. So you can see it's not really the best solution. In the description you can just read, it'll tell you can probably just drill 4 holes in here so it'll sit on top. Anything really, like as long as it just gets one little pin in there somewhere and doesn't touch your CPU, just a hole so it, that thing doesn't fall around. But so what I did was I took the thermal pads. Oops. That's all good. And you can see here I've got drilled a hole in the bottom. Let's get this whole thing out. There. All right. I don't know if I want to take the back plate off, but basically this black line here, this is the default line, and this plug went to the other fan. I might as well just take off. The only problem is that my thermal pads. They're really stuck. Oh. Alright, so there's my thermal pads. Before they are nice little fine squares. Little thin. It was crappy. Like the standard stuff they give you is crap. This is thermal Play-Doh, and I made it myself. So I take the thermal pads, squish them all around with some new paste. So I pasted the thermal pads. Just kept folding it over until the wetness was throughout the inside. Okay. So you may have some trouble running this line. I don't know, I just put a hole where I thought it should go out. So this is all glued in with some kind of stuff, stinky stuff. And I had to turn the fan on. I actually just plugged the power line in and just blew out the fan with the chassis one. So this white wire, not that one, this one, has a 0.7 volt there, and in the fan itself, it was right there as a 12 volt. So that 0.7 and 12 volt both have this type of, you know, fan adapter. And this one that goes into the jumpers. And it goes into a MOLEX legacy. So I'm basically getting power the same way in a lot of it too. That this fan wants a lot of power. So I'm guessing that in the time back then, they just didn't understand that the manufacturers would be blasting these cards out with different BIOSes and voltages. So, let's see here. So it's just a combination of, you know, trying to single it out. Like when I really got seriously mad about it, I switched out the PSU, no change. Switched out the GPU, and my Ryzen 3600 performed just fine. It has nothing to do with AMD. It has to do with the people that work at this company. And that company didn't realize that whatever methods these things use is going to make this part really hot. And I looked at OCCT and realized that my CPU can go from 40 Celsius to 80 Celsius in 2 seconds. So no fan is going to be able to do what it needs to there. It needs to keep that thing 10 Celsius cooler to, you know, preemptively prepare the card's temperature for when it's going to get all that voltage, which happens from, you know, 300 megahertz core clock to 1200 in a matter of seconds sometimes. So that can be 60 degrees of coolness that all it has is these dingy little pads. They don't even cover the whole area. They had these little, like, it's like this little dingy crossbar on each of them. There's a huge pad here, and then there's like a little bar going across. As you see, mine is like the foundation of the pad itself is like a big blob, and then it goes up. So just think about that. We'll put this rack together. So when I first put the power line on, split it, I had I think just the MOLEX. I didn't have the third fan. I didn't have this yet. And I got stable OC. And I was able to play Dota and Rust for a long time, OC'd. And one day it crashed. I'm like, alright, that guy with the AMD Vega, he put an actual fan on there. And I hadn't even done this yet. So I hadn't done that, hadn't added the fan. All I did was split the power lines. So that's proof there's a combination of the fan drawing too much power and it getting too hot at the same time. I don't know really the details there, but I know that it wasn't completely fixed by just altering the power load off those 4 pins that these 2 big fans were connected to at a time. yeah, so I ran it with no backplate, so it didn't have its thermal. If I had just put the thermal on and not the fan, it probably would be fine. But why overheat that thermal pad? It's going to go bad. Do that. So that's why the thermal pads are on there, because that shit is going to get hot. I honestly don't remember. I used this card in i5 for a long time, and that's what I played Rust with, is an i5 6600, and I owned on it hard for years. I also used the 1060 in there. I could go on here. What the heck am I doing? Let's get that wire sticking out. I can't sit flat and just lock in good. I'm ruining it. Alright. This is annoying. See, why do they sell such cheap, just the cheapest webcam wires you could ever get? Anyway, you probably won't be able to see what I'm doing. I don't care. But I showed the wattage in OCCT in the beginning of the video. That is not something you can do. You cannot overclock these cards by standard. So maybe they, they're in some Chinese factory and it's just really cool and the card never ever gets hot. But in a normal house, it's not a factory with air conditioning. And it could be something like 5 degrees that's setting it off. It's not even a lot of heat that's making it crash. It just can't keep its RAM cool. So I only have 3 screws. I lost that one fixing this card. So there we go. We've got back to where we were. Got hole drilled. We've got the standard wire coming out to itself. It's split fan. Like these two were connected together. Just so dumb. So I disconnected the 2 fans going like this. They go like that, and instead they go like this. They're going straight out rather than connected. And one of them goes out to this wire. So that wire has to be taped down so it doesn't hit into the fans, which I already found out the hard way. Right. Yeah, Asus has nothing to do with Asus. Has nothing to do with AMD. Has nothing to do with your BIOS. Has nothing to do with your PSU. Can you believe how many idiots are on the internet and they just sit there all day like they're making their coffee and sitting at their computer? Oh no, someone posted a forum post and they need help. And they go, oh yeah, you only have a 790 watt PSU. I recommend an 840. And then the person's like, okay, and like never checks the post again because they know that person just has no idea. They've never used this GPU. They don't have a Ryzen. They've never had a black screen power failure mid-game. And the person who had the RX570 and crashed, they never come back and say, oh, no, that my last post, yeah, that didn't fix it. I know I said I fixed it, but I don't care about you guys enough to come back and say that I was a failure and didn't know how to fix my video card. So I just bought a new one. Yeah. Well, you enjoy your new GPU from Mama's wallet, but I'm going to fix mine because it's a freaking powerhouse and it's going to blast you and own you. And I've got 165 hertz monitor, and I literally have the highest human reactions. Anyway, so I'm coming back to the forum post and saying, listen up, dudes. I thought I knew how to fix it by changing my EDC power limit in my precision boost overdrive. And I disable this CPU setting. That doesn't fix anything. And you have no idea how to fix it. The people trying to get it fixed aren't even smart enough to respond and like tell you what they did, you know, as you make them suggestions in their like tech support post. It's all about what I did. And I found out that the fan is a problem. And now I got a custom fan mod. You should do that too. You should go on Amazon and get a 12-volt MOLEX. You don't even need the little hanging off the side wire. I can rip that out. I got these two yellow ones going to that, or yellow and black. And this other one, it's got, actually, they're like sharing something there. Anyway, without further ado. This has been years of suffering, just years. And to have me find this random wire around the house. I mean, I could have fixed it without the wire, without the splitting of the fans. I could have maybe fixed it like the AMD Vega 64 GPU guy. Could have maybe did that. Any single one of those things might have done the trick. But when there's two boards that are stuck together in carpentry, sometimes a single nail fixing it isn't the best fix. 2 nails. So I put 2 nails in this GPU. We've got power. Some people are like, how many PCIe lanes? You have too many SSDs on. Do you think that people that have worked on computer hardware for, you know, the last 30 years, making gaming parts better, and finally got 8 megabytes VRAM, boys, enjoy your doom. You think that they're gonna program a computers to not be able to handle the power because you have 3 hard drives? Oh, your Ryzen 2022 $800 5800 D3D CPU that gets 350 FPS in Rust? Yeah, it's crashing because you have 1 extra SSD, and you should unplug your microphone and suffer. You unplug your Ethernet. That's why you're like, these are the people that are on forums. They don't have a GitHub. They don't have, you know, hacks for Windows to make it faster. They don't do any of that. They buy the next gaming part and go, oh, I don't need to disable Windows services because I have this CPU. Okay. Let the kill-death ratio talk. I remember my friend said that when Windows 7 came out. He's like, oh, I don't need to disable all the things in my startup because I don't know how much RAM we had back then. He's like, I have 8 gigabytes RAM or something. I was laughing. Alright, so got my little power wire. Got my 650 watt. And I tested with that one. I tested with a 500 watt. It doesn't matter. You saw how much the GPU uses. It can use up to 250 15 watts, 250. You know, so yes, disabling precision boost overdrive will make 50 watts here or there, but that's not the real fix. The real fix is putting on a fan. This is it. It's a simple i5 Skylake fan. Can't see shit. Yeah, I had turned on my voice limiter, my noise gate, my noise reduction, and then as soon as I hit stream, my mic disappeared from OBS. So whatever I was saying at the beginning, it's probably not in the video. I was just talking about the voltage and man, this is really hard. Can't see anything. Okay. So like I said, just find somewhere that the fan can sit. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's sitting flat down. It's not gonna fall out the side of your rig here. So like that wire right there, the red wire, probably will keep it from moving, but it won't be allowed. It's good enough. Alright, so got the fan on the side. Just posted the windows. It's running good. Okay, and one of the fans isn't on, that's right. Okay, so this wire down here needed to be plugged in before I even did the card because of how short that wire is. I could probably get it this way, but the way a MOLEX is, it's you actually have to press it in. We'll hang this up there. I don't have a good case, so there's like bent metal that just keeps my GPU from falling out of the slot. I bend it in a new fashion every time, just press it up into the... This is gonna make me break it, probably. Okay, there we go. Alright, so grab this MOLEX. Where is it? See, mine's like so custom. I have to retape wires and just to keep stuff out of the way. So, got this MOLEX here. Probably don't even need to plug in all of the wires on it, just the two for the fan at 12 volts. Alright, so that's plugged in just like that. And it's gonna sit down on base of the tower so it don't hit the GPU fan, because these things are all designed awfully now. Tiny little towers. I like the old Gateway huge towers. Pentium 2 and 3 era had the best steel towers. Now it's garbage. It's so flimsy. Oh, it's so light for your lower testosterone generation. Like heavy steel that doesn't bend when you put your GPU and it doesn't break. So that's the problem with getting all this stuff from you know where. So that's hanging down like that, but it's not enough, so it has to be taped down. Barely enough tape. All right. That should be good. Said I got this red wire here, but it's not in the same position as before. Oh, I need this in here. That won't move. I wonder if I can lock the fan wires together like this. Lock that wire inside here. Perfect. All right. Hopefully that goes on good. It's not long enough to pull it out, I guess. How is there so many wires for this fan? Just go in, damn it. I don't know if I like that spot. Might be good though. One more time. Yeah, it's just been so many years. Like, I came from QX965 0 quad core, and that thing crashed so much. It was just unreal. Okay, we got one pin locked in. That's good. One pin locked. It needs to be modified. Like, I can simply modify that and just glue it on. Like, it doesn't matter as long as it's in the right spot. So I had a QX965 around 2012 when Dota 2 came out, and it crashed every game. Every single game, no matter what, it would crash because I had the RAM in the wrong slot. It was like that OCZ, like DDR 2850,000, you know, 28,000 or something. And it just turned me into a bad player for life. And I just spent years just ruining everyone's games. It was just so irritable that from the crashes that I just fed. And as soon as anyone would contribute even just slightly to me being mad, I would ruin the game. And I made scripts to control all the couriers and click the mouse so fast. And I would just feed all the couriers. Even manually, I could outclick people because how mad and how much cortisol and testosterone was flowing through me as I played. Yeah, I was mad at, like, the game itself because I didn't like how it was designed and shit. I'm like, I hate this interface. people are like, oh, it's just skins and stuff. I'm like, no, it's so bad. Alright, so, whoops. It's gotta be the bottom one. You hear that hollow sound, that's your GPU fan. Alright. That's gotta be this one. No, it's not. This setup is just not the best. Like, I want to raise it on little, feet, and then I can run these wires out the bottom of the case. Especially this hard drive setup, like, it's just trash. People who use little bays, they have like 5 Celsius hotter CPU. You just have all these little hot boxes inside. I'm not sure which one that is. Oh, it's this one. Okay, it's just a little, it's not even the thing I'm pushing down, it's the other wire sticking out the bottom. Damn. I need another piece of tape. I would like to have the whole bottom of the thing gone so I can just see what's going on from the bottom. Turn on its side, make sure all the wires are right. That should do it. Yeah, it wasn't even this wire, it's the small one hanging off the side. Not the top one. Alright. That's taken care of. You hear the other GPU fan turn on? It's blowing my weed away. So in combined, it's probably about 5,000 RPMs of all the fans together. Now I'll take the plug in the GPU. Main the screen. Either the monitor or same chip. But yeah, it wouldn't post without the fan connected to its original slot. At least one of the fans has to be plugged in. The Asus B50 Prime. Error. Use a keyframe thing, or there will be buffering in your video. So as you can see, the chassis fan is on. It's maxed out. CPU fan is on. And I'm overclocked. So this is overclocked. Use the OC tuner. All precision boost, everything. I don't got no. Oh, you have to use your power select. No, you don't. You don't know anything about computers. If you're telling people that online in a forum, you're desperate for some kind of +1 out of it. I'm a user of the card. I don't care what I get. I want it to work. Right? So these people are looking for forum cookies. They're posting for cookies. I'm posting because I want to play Dota and crush my enemies. I want to kill people in the game that bad. that I need to make sure my car is working, my mech suit that I'm piloting. I don't want it overheating. So, care about buffering and frame sequences. Back to OCCT. There's no need for me to test the game and show you that this is the fix for RX570. OCCT blasts the card with more wattage than any game will ever do, and I could let it run for indefinitely. What I should do is go to the thing and increase the power. That's what I should do. Let's do it while we're in, too, while we're testing. We'll go to... You have to have the custom radeon software if you use my tweaks for Windows, because none of the ones work. See? What was that even? I clicked the wrong one. That's what it was. Wow. 156 watts? Let's see what else we can do, huh? Oh my god! I don't know if you could hear the noises coming out of my... I have a solid state stereo amplifier, 650 watts. Look what it's doing. Oh my gosh. Oh, what the heck? Look, the computer's went off. The computer's broken. 156 watts. All right, let's just stop that before it burns up. So max voltage, max frequency, max power, and you could still see the screen. Granted, it was a bunch of... I don't know if you guys saw it, but on my screen, it was trying to do a Windows XP thing. You have to press Control Delete there. All right, so hopefully people, take into consideration that these chips and the cards are tested at the factory. You're not getting a bad GPU. It would crash as soon as you press proceed. It would be done. It would be gone. Oh yeah. There's a big difference, because when you join a Rust server, as I will show, if maybe we could go check it. I don't think maybe no one's there. Let me check the battle metrics. Tommy Guns Aim Train US. There are 9 players there. So let's just do a quick Steam test. Turn on my hacks. Where is it? Oh, I guess I don't get them this game. Okay. What? What? Great. Love when I do that. So I use the dupe guru and end up just deleting a lot of stuff that I need. That means maybe it's in here. In Steam. No, it's not. Wait, actually, here's one I can use. Okay, I had the old EXE. Like, I can't even copy and paste. You have to go like this. You have to make a new folder or open another window, which is automatic. You can't just... You have to use this if you want to go. But anyway, do that. Oops. Can't copy it back either. But if you go to another drive, not gonna move there. There we go. There. Steam. Hold. And you drag it back. And you delete it from the other place. And you clear your cycle with a script. Come on. Oh yeah. So my latency is always low. Can you believe this? When they rated these B550 boards, they said, what? UI? Right. This will surely work. This robo-copies the two together. Alright, got its DLL then. Isn't that insane? Steam can't even repair itself from a DLL missing. That has got to be the most annoying thing in the world. Like, why? Why do you need that? Can't you just go up here? Oh wait, there's just a bunch of buttons now. Duh. Have its DLL? I don't see the Steam UI DLL. It's that time, boys. Back them up. Let's rock. So they rated these at 500 microseconds. As you can see, the Meklin method brings it down real low. Real low milliseconds. I can get it down to zero DPC latency. An operating system that does nothing. It's doing something right now. Who knows what it's doing? But these threads are always moving. Looks like it checks something every once in a while. The mouse is doing that. But this isn't as good as the old one. So we need to get the old one here from Windows 7. We don't want an operating system that is like, oh, let's do everything all the time and update the video. Bunch of stuff. Like this file here. This is your mouse thread. The more I move this, the more cycles delta I get. So the one that's using a lot, you can change its priority to time critical. So the people who in Counter-Strike who think a freaking microsecond matters in it, maybe it might matter if you're facing against someone like me. That microsecond might be, you know, what your brain needed to survive an encounter with someone as fast as me. A gun that kills in 3 bullets. So you don't need a high-speed camera to test if your mouse trigger is clicking on the screen. You just need to change the priority of this. The client-server runtime process. This is where your mouse runs. Max request thread 16. So you can change any of these. Like this one, CDD, that your keyboard uses that too. So now I let go of the mouse, start doing the keyboard. Actually, it's the other windserve. So one of these, you see more activity on the CDD when you do the keyboard. Anyway, so you can alter both of these if you want. Know that 3 priority is higher than highest. So unless you're doing real time, it doesn't do anything. Now you can change the IO. Is that wise? Will you notice anything? Yeah, you will. Will notice something. You might have a problem with your CPU, you know, unless you have a good CPU that's not doing anything, like mine's not doing anything. You might not want to do that. But if you're some Counter-Strike, you know, god, and you want to try and get a little extra benefit, CSRSS tweak is in the books. That's about all to the video, folks. Go on the Rust game. Of the Dota game. And the thing, bud, about the old, you would crash in the menu. You would open up the server browser and crash. You would click your skins thing in Dota and crash. You would click anything in the game and it would crash. Anything. It was just amazing how anything could crash it. And then you would go change the voltage to your RAM. Oh, it's because you don't have enough DRAM voltage. I'm pretty sure you don't know anything about computers if you're trying to tell a person, rather than the person learn from the manufacturer what voltage their RAM should be at. Oh, my experience is that, if I use 1.36 volts, I never crash. Can you believe that? It works for me. And I'll never come back and check this forum post and, like, admit from my prideful stance that I was wrong. And you'll be forced to look upon this Google search for years and know that I was successful. And I never crashed again. But they're liars. They crashed again. And again. And again.
And then Mama bought him a new GPU. I want it 1080. I want a 2090 Ti. Mommy. Mama. And they just get fucking slaughtered when they face me and Rust. Only the naturally gifted who excel at the game naturally could possibly have a chance of beating me on a underconfigured Windows system. And trust me, if you're watching this now and you think that, you know what? This message is only to RX570 users. If you have a 580, close this video now. You paid $50 more than we had, and you're not invited to our party, which is only for people who have less money than you. So you're invited, RX570 user and friend, to go to github.com/Meklin2/A1 and download the kit. There'll be a release button that will say A1 3.1. That's probably the most newest version I have. And delete the rpcss.dll and the rpcepmap.dll, and only use this kit on Windows 10 22H2, which is the newest version, and open the nsudo.exe file and paste in your c/user/your name/desktop/ whatever folder you download to /a1.bat, and get the location for that a1.bat and just run that mofo, and just realize that 20 years of tweaking skills have been finally put into one file. And yeah, a bunch of stuff isn't going to work right, like Explorer, and who knows, maybe it'll change your time zone to India. I don't know what else funny stuff I didn't feel like fixing. But you're going to be getting the benefit that someone else... Look at that. 93 FPS, 98. There's no one here, but... Usually, if it's not a good voltage, you're going to start off with a lot of lag. Like, I jump in this room here, and I got 100 FPS. Screw you, buddy. We get a ride. Oh, the mega bus. Ah, you bought the mega bus. Who's driving this thing? Let's fucking go. What the hell are you waiting for? Quit beeping the horn at me. I'll throw a grenade in your face. Alright, Cletus. Put my headphone on. Take that hollow sight off. Oh, it's the boat zone. If the first person I shoot dies, it means that I know what I'm doing with GPUs. If no one dies, I failed. I'm a failure. Oh! That dude didn't see shit. Jump up here! Up here! Over here! We're coming up! Oh, he's got a custom! He's got a custom! We got him. We got him, boys! Alright, so as you can see, solid 120 frames. Just a lot of frames. So it says it might be buffering. It's more than buffering. I'm still climbing up the ladder in what it shows on my YouTube's panel. I'm in the water now, but it's way behind. Anyway, I don't know what more I can do to test. I guess I just go to Dota. And sometimes I get flickering black screen. I realize that may be possibly the resolution of 1650 by 1080 or something. Maybe it's, too high of a refresh rate for the GPU to actually pump out those frames at the higher overclock. So just clicking these buttons up here would crash the game. You can see I'm serious about this. Hold on. Look, that's a Grand Champion Cup. You don't just get that randomly. I mean, I got lucky that I had a team, because that part was. I performed in that tournament. I didn't play poorly. And that's the Battle Cup past this one. That's a Fall Battle Cup. This is a Champions Cup. Only the winners of the Battle Cups get to compete in the Champions Cup. Not only did we compete, we won it. So you'll probably never see many people with that trophy because they had trouble even getting a cup. I got the top cup. Oh yeah. You don't just get that. Anyways, so just look in the lobby list. Game. Like a Europe West lobby. I'm familiar with this area here. Anyways, you won't be experiencing crashes anymore. You won't have to turn off the maps because your GPU is too weak. You'll realize that you have a really powerful GPU. Playing 12 versus 12, you'll do good. Competing with 3090s, 3080s, 3070s, 3060s, 2090s, 2080s, 2070s, 2060s. They have 50s, I don't know. 40s and 50s. But I'm sick of AM or Nvidia paying these companies game to use their code better so that their GPU runs better. That's not how it is. AMD doesn't care about the deal. They care about power. And that's why, my fans are blowing the way they are now. Because they need to be. Or that's the powerhouse card that AMD's always have been will crash. And you'll think you have a bad chip and that professional, it's someone probably knows more about computers than me even is in the factory. Maybe not. Maybe they just know how to plug the wires and press on. Who knows? But they tested it and sent it to somewhere to sell it. They don't want to sell like the Matrox S3 company that you had to handpick the silicon because they're all bad. These chips are supposed to last 10 years at full load. It's supposed to be used for 10 years before it goes bad. And that may just be the fans and thermal. It may last forever. So it's amazing that people could even, I don't know, I don't care about what they're thinking when they wrote it, but someone else could conceive in their mind that someone online a forum just take their word for it that, yeah, you probably got a bad chip, man. Just send it back. And these people are going to test it Who knows? Maybe they're blowing, you know, coolant on it. And they test it. But they work. And it didn't work for you because you don't know how computers work. But I do. I'm here to teach you. RX570s is the first consumer class powerhouse beast. I'm talking like 980 Ti, like just those huge chip just gets so hot because there's so much GPU, CPUs on it, little shader cores, CUDA cores, who knows what they are. And they need a lot of VRAM. Think about logically, your whole computer's RAM has metal heat sinks on it. And you've got this little cardboard, silicon, crunchy. You know, a dog would bite your GPU in half and it would just crunch. That's how strong silicon is. And it's just getting so hot that one of the tiny billion little invisible strings of copper that are like pressed into this board is just like turning white hot and nothing can go through it anymore because it's just too hot or some shit. I don't know. This is literally the perfect computer. $200 CPU, $200 GPU. What else do you need? I'm spinning my invisible hero. I got background maps off. I just stopped it, spinning it the other way. I think you turn maps on while you're in a game. Nope, it's a cheat. That's right. Turning it on or off is cheating. It doesn't matter which way you're going. Can't do it in a game. But you can do it while you're hit ready check, while you're loading. But in a real Dota match, you can't do it while you're loading, while everyone's pressing ready. So the cheat check goes off earlier. Is all this stuff. So this is a Chinese map. Outgoing buffs. I don't have any of those. Look how much frames I'm getting. This is 12 versus 12. Like before I OC the GPU, I'd have like 120. You know, like you might as well be playing at 165 hertz. Even if it's flickers a black screen over and over. And then turn this down. Just be like, wow, I'm getting 200 frames a second with 24 players. So, Invoker, I'm not playing him, but when he does his Cataclysm, that's 48 sunstrikes going off at once. This GPU will crash during that. This is just the best. So I'm getting 140 so frames during the battle. 160 even. Looks like my screen's black over there. This usually doesn't happen. Okay. Display switch clone. Didn't do anything. So I unplug it from the GPU. I didn't unplug it from the stream chip. Plug it back in. Should work. All right, so I wasn't exactly cloned when I was getting all those good frames. Let's see what I get. Doesn't like 1650 at all. My desktop's in a different resolution, so I go B. Gotta get back to the game. Whoa. That looks good. Then I go in OBS, edit, transform. Man, menu is just crap. Why would they do that? Then you hit stretch to bounds, hold down Alt and Shift, drag to the left. Because my chip's in a different resolution. I actually have black bars on the side of my screen. Getting good XP here. Don't ping me. Don't ping me or I'll feed. One more. I run in the tower. Alright, go do something with my ion shell. You're ion shelled. That's what that purple thing is. Now I'm rolling a cigarette. I demand that you protect me during this time. Or I'll feed. So 130, 140 frames here. 140, 150 in the off lane. And in the safe lane, we're getting 150. We're getting the water rune here, guys. Just hang tight. We'll be back in the lane in a second. We're gonna go get this other water rune Dragon Knight. Don't get killed and feed. I think he wants to solo. I think Dragon wants to solo. That's why he's pinged me. Look, I'll help this guy farm by casting a spell on him that damages the monsters and gives me the gold instead of him. There we go. We got items. So our team is winning by 4. It's like Dragon Knight's getting attacked. You miss me?
Oh, Dragon Knight. And he's so strong in 12 vs 12. His AoE attack, his movement speed. Who died? So this is technically a GPU test, although I already know it's stable. We're on the OC RX570. So here's something interesting that one of my findings is that my dad's computer has an RX570. The computer streaming this has an RX560. The computer playing the game, RX570. I've never had artifacts. Dude, I'm making a YouTube video. Can you leave me alone? Yes, kick me. Okay, do it. I want you to lose. I just got my alt, guys. Kick me so I can't cast it, and you guys die faster. Go back to hell, Russia, or I slap you. Oh, oh. He talked. He talked to me. He died too, the dragon. Tried to kick me and then died. Awesome. Nice flare. So anyway, about the findings. Why I was interrupted by this player. The RX 570 never get artifacts, but when I OC'd it, I started getting the little black dots or snowflakes. They're little snow speckles that appear on the desktop. I get these black squares in the background, so like any sort of background that's just a plain, a black screen background behind something in Dota has these weird like squares everywhere, like a pattern. It wasn't the wire. Solid 100 frames a second, 110, 120. Our team is getting owned. There's nothing I could do. Ooh. See, if I go anywhere near him, it's just a bunch of tanks blinking on me and stunning me. Still early game, though. Team has some good spells. I got a kill. Strong illusion from the Venomancer. Dragon Knight with the Ion Orb. I can't even see my hero. Windranger walks into the Luna again. The chase just isn't working against her. I can't really help Luna. I'm waiting for more people. I can't go in on that. I have Blink soon. This looks like a good spot. Ping not really much lower with the stream on. We got different internet now. Need to test it on US East though, not Europe. Where's our Luna? He ain't nowhere. It's just a bad spot. Not enough group action there. Level 22 Earthshaker. As long as Earthshaker and Tusk aren't around, I can move around. Get some XP. It's more like, you know, Ultima Online than it is Dota anymore. Jesus. I'm killing Hoodwink! I'm killing Hoodwink! Well, I almost killed her. Look at the Hoodwink illusion! It's owning. Yeah, so after this video, there will be the newest Meklin method, which is fully automated. All it will show is the pre-configuration of the ISO. And basically that's it. Just one button. Take a fresh ISO. Ripple it. Put it to work playing Dota. That's it. Everything I do is automatic. And it should work with all the people's Windowses, whatever version, language. Because everyone's going to be using 22H2. It's the newest one. Damn. It's Mars. Look at them all. You don't see a Luna kill a Spectre very often like that. It's insta-killed Spectre. Not sure what he's using the harpoon for when he blinks. I guess just to get the damage out. Doesn't say it does damage. now I can do something. Dragon Knight muted. Keeps swearing at us in Russian. Ooh, I got her. Well, not me, really, but... See, they haven't chosen to fight for more than 5 seconds, the enemy, so... My illusions can't work their magic if everyone's running after the first conflict. But when they choose to go in on us is when I'm usually dead, somehow. Probably because I'm part of the reason in their decision-making to charge us. It's me dying. So I basically have to just wait until they're doing their... They think they're making their biggest impact on us and just pushing really hard. If I come out at that time, I can do the most damage. What is this Luna got? Extra gold? Honda? It's just a simple Aghanim's Refresher Luna. Kills everything. This game is going to be a YouTube video, guys. I want you to know. What you do in this game echoes in eternity until, you know, some liberal decides that someone paid them enough to not let people say things or say it. It's literally just like censorship for hire. It's so funny. Like, well, you can't say this about vaccines right now because these guys paid like $2 billion to Facebook. They pay like all their earnings to just destroy reality. Where is everything? There we go. See, look, everything disappears as soon as I go show up. There's no extended fight where the illusions are useful. It's also the European server, so I'm a little slower in my reaction to being on time to the play being made, and people run around more. They do that on the Singapore server too. They're just everywhere on the map. You can't really predict what's going on because people are seeing every opportunity. It's like it's like playing against an AI. One single AI hero is the equivalent of 12 humans because they're everywhere, making every opportunity to attack or do something. But the Americans, they don't jump this rune down here at the start. I've never seen in 12 vs 12 on the US East them raid that rune down there. Disrupted crystal, at least. Just attack ground with my illusions and chill. Look at the ogre. Oh my god. What does he have? Regular old Dagon ogre. Ethereal Dagon ogre is just so popular here. And I don't think they get scepter either. They just go for other big items for the beatdown. So my best play on these servers where the players are on average better than Americans is kind of just watch what they're doing and readjust my play style. You know, Darkseer is a good hero to start doing that on because he's a healer. I can't even BKB and all. Let's do one thing here. Got the big mini map. Since they jump so much more in this game mode, you might as well have a perk to see it here. They're not taking our hill. The hill is where they really commit enough for Darkseer to make kills. I've shut down their top carries easily. Look at that. TA died to me. Yeah, like my cursor and hero disappear in this game mode. I can't see him. I don't know why. I don't know how, but we're coming back. Elder Titan is how. 10-second. 10-second true old BKB. No spells. Usually about the 15 or 20-minute mark is when this GPU would have crashed. Right, so normal punch is useless because I'll be dead 5 seconds, even with. That's right, I just soloed the guy killing everyone on our whole team. As soon as I saw him near me. Alt. Alt down. It's okay to, fight one hero, even the hero with the best crit in the game. Yeah, Shiva's guard is enough for one hero, but when it's 10 heroes hitting you, armor doesn't really help. So it's best to just get BKB and Refresher. Really, Shiva's guard. You might as well get a Force Staff. Hope they don't chase you. But so much more happens in the short bursts of team fights that, the armor does make one thing. Makes your team able to hit them for just a little bit longer, having that armor. And it can be good here, if you know how to effectively use it. But what is she doing this time? Who is she killing that time? They just don't move. They just stand there and get mini stunned. I think it's time to go in. Okay, something insta-killed me. I'm not sure what that was. Guess I'll just buy back. It's like Tusk left. They think it's over. Oh, I killed her just by chasing. She was real low. Alright, so they lost a few players. Safe to leave. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have all of ours. They lost 2 guys. So they got about 4K gold each for that. Let me guess. Hoodwinked with 10 Daedalus. Oh my god. The event for the New Year's, Lunar Chinese New Year's, is you could pick all of the same hero. So there was like all snipers versus all snipers. A lot of Pudge Wars. It was crazy. Trying to think of the best teams that stomped. Undying teams were good. A lot of silencers was good. Techies games were crazy. It was so crazy to see like 6 or 7. Half the team was techies, just laying mines everywhere all night. The game lasted a long time. Waiting for my refresher. I'm on the Spectre, and we're getting racked awesome by the bear. That's okay. How is anything dying to me? I'm not even doing anything. Put the wall down. Oh, got a couple. If the wall gets in the base, it's crazy because the illusions die instantly. Especially from the well in this game mode. And they just keep recreating. It's awesome. I'll probably be able to drop another. Oh yeah, this is why DK is so good in this game mode. It's not playable unless you have an overclocked video card. Now that the RX570 problem is finally fixed by drmeklin.com/Facebook, Dr. that's why. And now that the problem's finally been fixed, and you can finally overclock the RX570 by splitting the power fan, re-thermal the pads, but with good thermal paste, not the Play-Doh they sell you. Trust me, that stuff was light. There's some heavy metal aluminum something inside the thermal paste liquid. It's not present in the pads, so you have to make your own blend for modern games that utilize the GPU in a way that it wasn't designed for. Past. It has nothing to do with drivers, nothing to do with BIOS, nothing to do with Windows, nothing to do with your motherboard, nothing to do with your chipset, nothing to do with your PSU, nothing to do with your CPU, nothing to do with your RAM. It has nothing to do with the DOCP mode in RAM. It has nothing to do with
frequency your RAM is. It doesn't matter if Intel, if Corsair said they only want this RAM used for Intel systems and you're on AMD. It doesn't matter. What matters is you believe in yourself and go get the power adapter, split the fans, run one fan to the GPU, run the other fan's wire, I don't know, any way you want, to the motherboard somehow. I use a MOLEX power supply. You have 2 chassis fan slots, maybe you don't need a MOLEX. You can run both up, but they're not long enough. So you might have a problem getting the GPU's wire over there. That helped me. And then adding the extra fan on top of the VRAM area, the GPU provided additional stability, which allowed the overclock to run indefinitely. If this computer stays on now, it doesn't just go off in the middle of the night because Bill Gates tried to look through my webcam to see if any kids are there and try and add their catalog their profile photos for the hidden, stalker book for child kidnappers that basically what the web serves for. I mean, what do you think of when you get online? You want to go like meet someone. How about you have, millions of printed fake money in the bank and you can just go buy people, not just find someone, offer them part of your fake money lifestyle, but actually just go get people. That's why they have not only to bust criminals, but for the criminals to use the same system. Why would we have that on there? So I'm not wrongfully pursuing an avenue that would enable criminals. I'm pursuing an avenue based on my idea that the system is wrong. And yes, it can be used for good to catch criminals, but it's also used by criminals to catch good people. So you're not banning the gun. Criminals will just have them then. The only people that will have them is outlaws. They outlaw guns. The only people that have guns is outlaws. So if we, outlaw process monitor, one day Windows 14 doesn't have any way for you to look at what's going on inside. That's what I feel like is going to happen one day. It's going to be like a Chromebook, and it's just based on this architecture that just retarded. No one can mess with it. But luckily, computers don't work like that. We'll probably never see that day where we can't mess with stuff and hack it. So people building it are us. Not like some secret, Intel, AMD company that's in the basement. How can we make sure no one can? Because when they do that, it's like, well, how do we get the Spectre Meltdown backdoor off our CPU then? Like if they really want to do something where they have to hide it, it's like hardware level that can't be viewed, monitored, recorded. Although somehow people found that out. I don't know if it was a whistleblower or a leak and they just realized, or maybe they just got hacked. A bunch of people were getting hacked. They had to find out how it was happening. It was them running kernel level or below ring 0 control of the CPU, just issuing it machine code. Who knows how? Through packets online. I don't know. But anyway, if you want to see how to use a media creation tool, get a fresh Microsoft ISO, edit it, and look at the next live stream. It'll show all of that stuff. And hopefully just run the script, show what you need to do to make sure that the script is successful.
few things you can do before you run it, especially install your drivers, because I don't even remember what it disables or deletes or renames anymore. Probably just the plug and play service and its DLL, or pnputil.exe, which is the driver install program, and you can manually install drivers with it. Basically, you might not be installing any drivers after the script, so best to just get the GPU and everything ready, and that's it. You don't even need a chipset. Like, that's another thing. These guys are like, oh, you need to get the AMD chipset. Why? So I can have a GPIO driver, a PSP util, like these random, weird, crappy hardware add-ons that no one needs or uses. Like, they're useless. Like, what are you getting out of the chipset that you keep talking about? It's a 50 megabyte driver file that doesn't have anything in it that you need. The drivers for your computer are not chipset. There is no driver inside the chipset. You're talking about an Intel chipset where they have like some stupid. Who knows what it even does? It adds the Intel power limiter service to Windows, so it doesn't, like, you never needed to have a disk to install your CPU. Like, where do you guys get this? You go to the Asus website, it gets your LAN driver, your sound card. All right, have a nice day. Your computer is set up, it works fine. Oh, look, the internet. All right. So it's not because you didn't have your chipset that your GPU is crashing. So when someone on a AMD.com page says, oh, just download the chipset, know that they're a Zog bot and that you should never listen to these people. If they make a living doing it on YouTube, making videos saying that they know how to fix something, they don't. They looked it up like Mr. Ballin looked up the story. Okay, Mr. Ballin wasn't there. He makes you feel like he was there. That's why it's a good story, because the person tells it good. That doesn't mean they were there. The person reading story time from a book in front of you in a rocking chair, they weren't at the fairy tale. They just read it really good. So that's what these people are doing. They're pretending they know in their chipsets, and it's all wrong. They're wrong. And they get cookies or tokens or something every time they make a post, and they're stat padding with like inane, asinine, thoughtless, like copy pasted, worthless garbage that no one should have to read. A bunch of people who think they know how to fix something. In every forum post starts off with a person with a problem, and the next person is like, oh, what PSU do you have? Like, why would that matter? Like, are there a bunch of bad PSUs out there that we should know about? Like, if it's 2020 or after, they probably have a 500 watt, you know? The PSU is not the problem. These people, they don't work with these computers that we have. They don't use them. They don't know what they're like. They don't know how to fix it. But when someone stomps their way into the forum and says, do this, it's probably me, and you should probably listen to that post and read it. They're out there. Look at the RX570 crash posts. I'm posting video links in my YouTube link to hopefully get people to understand what the problem is with that. It's unbelievable to me. I'm going out of my way to set this stream up and do all this crap. And hopefully they get the message that whatever they're saying, whatever they think fixed it, isn't going to fix it. It's going to overheat. And I guess, yeah, the random people that say what it likely might be based on their experience and ask you your PSU, the only ones that were right are the ones that were saying it was overheating. They said it was case in point, you know, classic example of overheat is when it crashes during load. I mean, that's the clue right there. It always crashes when a game opens or something. So yeah, it's a thermal problem, but it also could be a power problem because that power running through that fan line across the board from the plug coming from your motherboard's PSU, plugging into this GPU and runs this power line, it's running too much or something. Who knows? So somewhere it's just getting too hot. Having that 3000 RPM Intel fan on top of it seems to be one of the things that help some people. Definitely helped me. That's it. Now that it's over, let's show the setup again. Nothing special. Got an extra fan. So one guy, he put another fan over here too. But you don't need to because the thermal stuff is over here. You just need the one on the thermal area. But if you want to have one on your CPU and waste watts, go ahead. But I think you only need the one on the back.